The price of Optimism is rising massively. Now the question is, what's behind that price increase? Is there more usage on the blockchain? Is there some big project coming up? What's happening here? This is the rally I'm talking about, plus 33% just in the last 24 hours. In the last week, we gained roughly 55%, and in the last month, we almost doubled. Now why? All of crypto went up, but also relatively speaking, the OP token outperformed. This is Optimism relative to Ethereum. And yes, in the last weeks, this did do quite well. This was not always the case, but still in the span of 1.5 years or so, 124% outperformance. And the impressive thing about this is that this happened despite what's shown here behind me. What we have here is the number of OP tokens circulating over time. This went from the beginning of the year, 214 million, to now 911 million, a growth of 324% in a single year. So the number of tokens more than 4x'd, and the price still more than doubled relative to Ethereum. This is how much demand there had been for Optimism. Usually an altcoin can never catch up with that much inflation, but Optimism was defying all odds. We are also seeing rising social metrics. This is the number of Twitter followers. This is something we do not see for a lot of altcoins. The most important question when a rally like this happens is, are we looking at manipulation by the whales or by the centralized exchanges? I don't think so, because have a look at the following. This is the CoinGecko page of Optimism. And over here, we see the trading on the spot market, a third of that being on Binance, and we see the trading on the perpetuals market. Now, what I always like to look at to determine whale manipulation is the 24-hour trading volume relative to the market cap. That's currently at 1/3, right? 1/3 of tokens moved in the last 24 hours. This is an elevated number, but still it doesn't smell like manipulation, because when manipulation happens, we sometimes see a multiple of the market cap being traded in 24 hours. That's not the case here. We only see 1/3. And so what is it then? Is there more capital flowing into Optimism? Is there more bridging happening? Are there more transactions happening? Is that what's driving this all? I do not think so. This is DeFi Llama with the total value locked on Optimism. Yes, that is recently increasing. And yes, this did go up since beginning of the year. But this is measured in US dollars. And all kinds of cryptocurrencies went up measured in US dollars. Looking at the same chart measured in Ethereum, we actually had 0 net growth since beginning of the year. So it's still the same amount of ETH that's locked up in Optimism. That cannot explain 250% price growth in the same year. Here's the number of transactions on Optimism per month. This year marks the beginning of the year. And again, we didn't grow by 250% in the number of transactions in those last 12 months. It rather went down potentially. Now, why do I talk about all of this? I talk about it to get a clearer picture, to at least dismiss some explanations, to say, okay, Optimism has grown that much, or Optimism is being manipulated, or Optimism has seen a lot of capital. All of that is obviously not true. Something else must be happening. And let me show you what I think it is. Have a look at this website. That's token.unlock.app and check out the following event. Currently, we've got 911 million Optimism tokens circulating. The market cap, though, is way, way larger. So there's a lot of tokens that aren't circulating yet. Now let's go into a bit more detail and have a look at the following chart. A jump from 855 million OP tokens to 2.3 billion. Governance fund, partner fund, seed fund, user airdrops, retroactive public goods funding, all kinds of new interest groups getting their stake in OP. Now, usually this would be bad, right? More supply means a depressed price. But the question is always, how is this manufactured? Are people jumping on Optimism to get an airdrop? Do people with an allocation get incentivized to maybe lock up the tokens or to maybe do something to contribute to this whole ecosystem? If it's all planned in a clever way, then even a jump like this in the supply will not harm the price. There's another effect. If enough people are betting on falling prices of Optimism because of that unlock, maybe a short squeeze happens, right? The centralized exchanges might have some incentive to push up the price temporarily. What I find interesting is that recently a lot of layer 1s, but also layer 2 scaling solutions on Ethereum are moving quite well. First, we saw the Solana pump. Then we saw Avalanche picking up. Yesterday, the Near token went well. And now we are seeing optimism with that event. Those kind of rallies can continue for quite a while. AVAX is still rising pretty fast. The question is, where is the real opportunity? Probably it's in the small cap tokens on Optimism. Maybe there's an Optimism specific meme coin that could be taking off. For Solana, Bonk made a 6x. For Avalanche, the Coq token made a 6x. On NIA, I believe it was the Nico token that also went up pretty well and still continues to rise. So probably it makes sense to look very deeply at the Optimism related small cap coins, potentially meme coins. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. There's also a free Telegram. Link is down below.